This stream is sponsored by Brilliant.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
RCP chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger roll with Atlantis.
Water towers can fly! Yes!
Echo Delta nominal.
Flight outside SCE off.
Say again, SCE off. Off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.
Well, hello there, everybody. Let's do a quick 5x5 check-in chat to see you can hear me, because you have me, unfortunately, to start with. So let's do a 5x5 first of all. I'm seeing 5x5s very fast. I hope I wasn't the second person speaking. But either way, it's a Starlink launch. Would you believe it? It's been such a long time since the last one. But there we go. What a view there, provided by Stephen Marr, who's out there at the Kennedy Space Center for us. Look at that. We now have 2 Starlink towers. I'm stealing that joke from Daz, but I don't care. It's absolutely a wonderful sight there. We've got 39A on the left-hand side, and then the Starship tower being built in its sections. Now 4 sections there in total on the right-hand side. This is the future, people. This is where we're going to start seeing Kennedy Space Center finally become a multi-launch center, where they're going to launch SLS, Falcon 9s, Falcon Heavies, and Starships. And it's been a long time coming, trust me. But first of all, let's do some introductions. We have Stephen Marr out there with a camera, a wonderful photographer for NASASpaceflight, and providing these live views. We've also got on comms, we've got you lucky people, we've got Nick from Starbase, who's joined us for a Kennedy Space Center stream. A nice synergy there, moving over from Starbase Starship to what will be Kennedy Space Center Starship as well. So say hello to Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Chris. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. I figured I'd better start hopping over with these Starlink launches, because last I checked, SpaceX will be busy launching lots of Starlinks with the Starship as soon as it's ready. So, gotta get some practice in while we can.
And I will throw a quick indeed reply to that, because we're missing Chris G. Unfortunately, he's not feeling very well. That's why you've got my voice, unfortunately. So there's the customary indeed from Chris G in spirit.
Indeed.
But also, we're joined by Alex. Alex, say hello, Alex. You're our expert. You're welcome on our streams at any time, and you're on today.
Yeah, I'm here again for a Starlink launch. Let's see what happens.
And this launch itself, this is Starlink 425. I'll forgive anybody who can't keep track of these Starlink launches, because this is SpaceX in a record year already. The last Starlink launch broke their previous record for the entire of 2021, and we're only in July. And that's some cadence they're really increasing now, because Starlink is their main bread and butter of the launches right now. Not to mention the fact that they've got the prestige launches of crew launches and CRS launches to the ISS. But it is a stunning launch cadence. This 425, Alex, I don't know if you can talk about it, because we've got an article pinned in the top of chat for people who want the nitty-gritty details of everything about this launch. But as a quick overview, 425. Fire away, Alex.
Oh yeah, well, this is launching obviously from Launch Complex 39A. We're seeing right there. And it's launching on B1062 for an 8th time. And this booster previously supported 2 GPS missions back in 2021 and in 2020. And it also flew the Axiom 1 and Inspiration 4 crew missions, which we all know very well. And it also did the Nilesat 301 mission. I think that was the last time it launched. And it also did 2 Starlink missions, Group 4-5 and Group 4-16. And it actually is the current holder for the fastest turnaround record of any booster out there. Not this time. This time is a lower turnaround time this time around. But on a couple of previous flights, that was when it actually broke the record for lowest turnaround time. And today's mission, just as always with Shell 4 launches, they're launching 53 Starlink satellites into the Shell 4, which is 540 kilometers altitude circular and 53.22 degrees. The booster is landing on a shortfall of Gravitas, which is located about 650 kilometers downrange on the North Atlantic Ocean. And fun fact, today is the 140th launch since AMO 6. Orbital launch since AMO 6. So That's a ton of missions successful since then.
It's crazy world we're living in now because I am obviously a shuttle child, a child of shuttle as they call it, and that was
Really?
classed as
Really?
reusable. You won't believe it, Nick. Yes, true. Actually, I do. I'm quite partial to shuttle. Anyway, the long story short is that was classed as a reusable vehicle. It wasn't really. It was just the orbiter that came back, and there was a massive, like 3 month at the minimum processing turnaround because they really did need that turnaround in the OPF to get the vehicle ready for the next launch. We've now moved into the properly reusable boosters of Falcon 9s, which we're seeing work time and time again. It's hard not to sound like a SpaceX fanboy when you talk about SpaceX's launch cadence and the way they've made reusable routine. I say routine very carefully because that is something you don't like to say in spaceflight because it'll bite you in the backside when you don't expect it. But then they're going to move on to Starship, which is going to be fully reusable and rapidly reusable. And that's the key thing, they're rapidly. Because if they can start relaunching the vehicle they've just landed, literally within the next day or so, that is the game changer. That's where everything changes. So it's a completely exciting thing when Alex was talking about the missions this booster has previously launched. So it's really is a crazy situation. I just want to quickly say to chat, if you've got a question, tag at NASASpaceflight.
Oh, yeah.
A special little panel we've got, which we can then read off in order. If your question doesn't get answered straight away, don't worry. We've got the panel. We'll go through it in order best we can. But I just want to quickly thank Chris K. Chris K has done another 10 memberships. This is a gifting thing, which is recently added to YouTube, where you can gift memberships to other people in chat. And Chris K has probably done about 100 memberships by now. He'd probably tell me it's more than that. But that is incredible from Chris K to not only support us in what we do, but spread the joy to other people. And speaking of spreading the joy, we've got a new Red Team member there from B who's joined on their own accord, which is absolutely incredible. But thank you, Chris K. And Chris K will be at Starbase next week, so we might be able to see him. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the situation is there, but he's going to be at Starbase next week. So we'll all be saying hi to Chris K, seeing Starship in person for real. A quick question. Is it a Rough Rider show with support? Why static fire for this launch? Morning all. Why static fire for this launch, Alex?
That's a good question. We actually don't know the right answer for this one, but they usually do static fires when they do more in-depth checks of the booster and the engines, especially. When they change, for example, more than a few engines, they tend to do a static fire. And we saw a static fire yesterday at about 9 a.m. Eastern time. So it's obviously undergoing a little bit more in-depth refurbishment, most likely. And so they probably wanted a little bit more data out of the booster engines in this case for the static fire. So yeah, that's usually mostly the reason why these static fires are conducted. They used to. Oh,
sorry,
no,
go
ahead.
I didn't realize you'd not finished. Carry on, Alex.
No. Go ahead.
I was just
I'll
quickly
explain
saying,
it later.
It's quite relevant to me talking on this, that one people in chat are saying my volume is a bit low. Chat, is my volume high enough or not? I want a quick random firing away of people in chat saying if I sound too quiet or if I need to turn up. Let's have a quick check. 5x5, hang on. Not
5
yet.
by 5. Ooh,
It
that's
could be
good.
higher.
Oh, not yet.
4x4. Patrick, if you can
That's
turn me up
my
a little
car.
bit, by all means do, yeah. Anyway, B was the one who joined at Red Team. I just want to put that on there. And a good morning, NSF crew from Ralph Chilton. Very much appreciated. John Wick asks, where does SpaceX store the boosters?
That's a good question. They actually use multiple places, or they used to use multiple places to store their boosters. Currently, their main hub for storing boosters is Hangar X at Roberts Road, which is very close to where all these tower segments for Starship Launch Tower are being built. And I think they have about 9 spots there for boosters. So they have 4, I think it's 5 and 4. And so 5 of them are the ones that are being stored sort of like parking spaces. And then another 4 are spaces where they can work on the boosters. It's more spread out. It's not like tightly contained and everything. And so they can store about 9 boosters. But currently, I think they have up to 15 boosters out there. And where are they storing the other 6? Where Well, it should be around 3 or 4 probably are in 39A, and maybe a couple of them are elsewhere. They have other hangars at the Cape side. Oh, excuse me, at the Cape side. So we shall see probably these boosters that are inactive, especially the Falcon Heavy boosters. Those probably are going to be coming out of the hangars on those places probably soon, especially for the Falcon Heavy launch that we have in Q4 of this year. So yeah, there
Question
you
for
have it.
I don't think Stephen is on comms, but if we know anyway,
Hmm.
Joe Pipple asks, where is Stephen filming from? I think that we might know the regular spot we use for 39A, so I don't know if anyone in comms can tell us where he's actually filming from.
That's actually a really good question, because
Yeah.
I've been wondering that too. I've seen all of our wonderful Cape photographers being able to provide all these awesome views, and I still don't have any idea of where things are out there. So I need to get in with Stephen one of these days and figure that out too.
I tell you what to do.
KSC press site.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it probably very much is, because the ironic thing about this is when it's a SLC, a Pad 40 launch. Sorry, I got distracted there because Robert Hobson just did $200 super chat. Robert, we're trying our best here, and you just throw money at us. I mean, no, very much appreciated. It's my birthday,
Wow.
but
Thank you,
happy
Robert.
birthday,
Oh
Robert!
boy.
Happy birthday,
Woo,
Robert!
happy
Everyone say happy
birthday.
birthday in chat. It's my birthday, but more important, it's the anniversary of the Apollo 11 splashdown. Yes, I'll be doing some tweets about that later. And speaking of tweets, I was going to say that Joe, if you see Stephen Maher's tweet of launch photos, which always come after launch, just ask him on Twitter. He'll probably tell you. So that's probably the easiest way of finding out, because I don't think he's on comms right now. But Robert, my word. And
Could be
also
the
thanks.
opposite. when when it is someone's birthday, it should be the other way around, right? We should be
Yeah.
sort of giving something to them.
I was just thinking that, yeah. I just want to say, chat's just gone crazy with happy birthday. So that's wonderful. Thank you, everybody. We're at T-minus 25 minutes. I am keeping an eye on the clock because at T-minus 20 minutes, we'll see the event. And that's my favourite event of all countdowns. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on that 5 minutes ago before that event happens. And that will also be an indication everything's going very well. I don't know if we've got the launch comms net up, Alex, in your background.
Yeah,
Is everything going well?
SpaceX hasn't gone live with their audio countdown, but we see vapor, so obviously we're under propeller load.
That's the thing. When we haven't got the loop, sometimes they do the loop for us, which allows us to keep an eye on the prop loading. But it will always have the T-minus 20-minute visual event, and that will give us our countdown indication that everything's going on plan. So that's great. Ralph, good morning. Thank you for your support. Remy Turk, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Very much appreciated. Bren D, why is 39A a LC and 40 an SLC? That's talking about LC 39A, 39B compared to SLC 40, 41, etc. I think it's a Cape thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because the LCs are. So this is funny because there's Slick 40, Slick 41, and all of those south of that, they are pads that are on Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, whereas LC-39A and LC-39B are on the Kennedy Space Center. Now, does it mean that all of the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station launch pads are called SLEAK, like a Space Launch Complex? It's actually not true. there are a couple of launch pads that are launch complex. So, for example, the Relativity pad is launch complex 16. and why is that? I'm truly not sure. I think we probably need Chris Chi for that. I think he's probably the expert on that. But sadly, he's not with us today. So
it's an intriguing one because they don't keep to the way they name things, and that's annoying because it is the distinction between the two. What is technically two launch sites there, which is Kennedy Space Center, which is what you're looking at right now, and Cape Canaveral, which is now a Space Force launch center. So it's all very convoluted, but that's the naming is mainly about the numbers. And also, I just want to bring up some of the fun point. There is a 39C, and it's actually inside 39B. It was going to be a small launch site where they were going to have Rocket Lab all being well, but Rocket Lab didn't like the idea of the range being restricted by all these launches from the coast. So they went to Wallops instead, and they get to launch from Wallops, but that's where they've got a launch site, next to the Antares launch site. But yeah, there's actually a 39C there. There is plans for LC-49, which will be 2 Starship towers. That's why I wanted to go there, because the tower on the right-hand side there is a Starship tower. It's not fully built. But we have a question about that from Philip Emery, who asks, how will the 2 launch towers compare in height when the new tower is finished? I think the answer to that one is it's going to be much taller than Starship Tower than the 39A fixed service structure, which itself is an icon from shuttle launch. By the way, if you look on the left-hand side, you see the tower with the lightning pole on top. Look to the right of the tower, you can see some like pylons sticking out. Like they're a heritage from the shuttle program. They're literally, the FFS is literally from the actual space shuttle program, and they just reclad it and revamped it, moved the launch tower, the escape tower up slightly higher. The escape wires, I should say. The water tower, you'll see spewing water. That's how they know it's full. They overfill it till it hits its overflow valve and it starts spilling water out. And that's their indication the water tower is full. Yeah, you will see it spewing water with about 2 minutes to go.
Really?
That is their indication.
They just overflow it?
They have no light that shines when they fill it. They have to watch it go over the overfill valve and see it spurt water out to know it's full. That's one of the fun stories from shuttle, and still use it.
I bet you Elon really likes that solution because, as he always says, best part is no part. So, why worry about an overflow mechanism when you just overflow it every time?
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. People thought there's a leak. We had it in the show program. People said it's leaking. No, that's how they know. Aldo Zond, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Very much appreciated. We're coming up to T-minus 20 minutes. I'm quickly keeping an eye on this clock. Chris K, I have gifted 170 memberships. And also Starship OLT down at the pad right now, minus Lightning Tower. Chris K, you're a wonderful supporter. We very much appreciate you. You're very popular in our Discord and you're part of our team. So, wow. Chris K really is part of our special club, shall we say.
Jeez.
There we go. 20 seconds. And the T-minus 20-minute event has started.
There you go. What that means is the second stage has all its kerosene loaded already, and so what they're doing is they're draining the lines to the second stage on the Stromback in preparation for liquid oxygen load in about 4 minutes or so.
Thank you for taking that, Alex, because I was just quickly recording a little clip to tweet. I always do this on the Twitter feed. If you follow NASASpaceflight on Twitter, I'll tweet every time we go live. If there's a video published, and it's an important point this, because if you follow me on Twitter, when YouTube, in its ultimate wisdom, decides that you can only send 3 notifications out to people who have subscribed and asked for notifications, you can only send 3 out a day. When we do like several live streams and then a daily video at the end of it, one of them will not get a notification. It's usually a daily video, which is really annoying. So if you follow me on Twitter, or follow us on Twitter, I should say, because it is quite a site, Twitter, you will never miss a live stream. You'll never miss a new video being published, and that's why I was just recording a clip there, because I tweeted that we're covering this launch, and this is T-minus 20 minutes launch, now T-minus 19. Everything appears to be going to plan so far. Alex, I've got a question for you here, and I'll bring Nick in as well, because what we're going to start with, Alex, is Ian Dowes asks, how big is a Starlink satellite? Thanks. So
I'm going first?
Yes, please, because I'm going to make a Starbase reference afterwards.
Well, the ones that Falcon 9 is launching today, I believe they are about 3.5 meters in length, or more like 4 meters in length, and about let me do the math. I think it is about 2.5 meters in like the depth, sort of like dimensions in English are hard for me. Not first language.
No
Yeah,
worries.
so and then the thickness, I think it is about 30 centimeters or so about 1 feet. I think it's the conversion into into imperial units. So there you go. And Nick, I think you probably know the ones for Starlink V2, right?
There we go. That's you preempted my question for Nick. Yes, Nick. Fire away about Starlink V2 with Starship.
Yeah. Starlink V2s are just a little bit bigger. They're about 25 feet. Or if someone who can switch that to metric for me real quick can think that, 25 feet is what? I'm typing away here. What?
The good thing about UK is we do both.
Yeah. What is that, Chris?
Meters.
I have no idea. I tend to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I tend to use feet and yards and things, whatever, because I'm old, but...
Okay, well, so it's about 7.5 meters,
Mm.
and they're also flat, and but they're much larger than these V1 Starlinks, and that allows them to put more batteries on board, more communications antenna, more upgraded hardware, and also that very famed space laser system that SpaceX has been talking about for a long time, where the Starlinks don't just beam the data connection directly back down to the ground, but they beam it across space to another Starlink satellite via just lasers. So basically fiber optic cabling without the cable, just flashing lights at each other. So assuming that Starship can get off the ground anytime soon, they'll be bringing these Starlink V2s up to space with them as part of their first sets of payloads. So that'll be what we're looking at over in Starbase. They are much larger than the ones here at the Cape, but each one serves its different purpose.
It's exciting times because can you imagine if Starship becomes the operational aspiration that SpaceX want it to be, with the fast, rapid cadence of launches, launching all these Starlinks, plopping them out with its Pez dispenser all across the orbits, all across the planes. They're going to absolutely dominate the spaceborne internet industry. I mean, you've got OneWeb, you've got other companies as well. You've got Amazon Kepler Project and what have you. They're not going to be able to compete with Starlink. They're not going to be able to compete at all. They're going to have to reduce their prices crazy to actually compete, because the coverage SpaceX will get with these amount of satellites is going to be absolutely astonishing. Wow. So JWA, 5 gift memberships.
Oh, my goodness.
This is becoming a thing, isn't it? Wow. I mean, the good thing is because it introduces people to our membership program. I'm quite proud of it because I run it. So, there we go. Yeah, bit of a cheeky reference there. But yeah, red team and above, you get quite a lot. I mean, Nick, you're on the stream. Your photographs go in there. So the members get to see your photographs, because I mean, trust me, if my wall was big enough, it'd be full of Mary and Nick photographs. Now, all our photographers are amazing. I must admit, especially for someone who's absolutely rubbish with cameras, I cannot take a photograph to save my life. But I mean, Nick, you've got a special thing where you can take these special photographs, which I have no technical understanding about, but it looks like they're almost paintings. I don't know how you do that. Maybe a quick explanation, Nick. How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I'll give everyone a quick explanation as we're waiting here for the Falcon 9 launch. I use what's called HDR bracketing in my pictures. So all the real artsy ones that you see that look real nice and, as Chris said, almost look like a painting. Basically, I set my camera up to take 9 different exposures at 4 different exposure values below proper exposure and 4 above. And then I use some special software to merge all of those images together into one properly exposed image, but it gives me a lot of detail in the shadows and a lot of detail in the highlights. So it just looks really pretty. So that's kind of how I do some of my more artsy photos. But yeah, Chris, I definitely understand the whole filling up the wall problem. Me and my roommate Cooper just got in some nice metal prints. The new real orange Starship Ship 24 that was rolling down, that metal print just came in a couple days ago. And we realized we don't have wall space for it, so we're going to have to move some other pictures.
I tell you what, I've got some as well. And the metal frames, I mean, I was a complete numpty as far as how it works, but a metal frame, it is so different. It really is very, very nice. It's well packaged. We're going to do a reveal actually how they're packaged and how they arrive. But they're so solid, and you just literally don't even need frames. You just literally just attach them to the wall with the brackets they come, and even magnetic brackets they come with. I really am going to buy every single metal frame that we put in the store. I'm sorry to say, I'm not even lying. I really am going to, because they are stunning. Now we're at T-minus 30 minutes. People will say, Chris, there's a launch going on. Stop chatting. But no, I'm keeping an eye on the watch. I'm keeping an eye on the countdown. Don't worry. It's T-minus 13 minutes. We're okay yet so far. And luckily, everything is going to plan. The count is proceeding to plan, so that's all going very well. A quick thank you to people who are supporting this, what we're doing, because without your support, we couldn't do this. It wouldn't be viable. This is not where you're just basically taking a web stream and talking over it. We send people out to launches. Stephen Marr is out there for us. He's got out of bed early on a Sunday morning to go out to the Kennedy Space Center, set up the cameras. We're live streaming it through our channel, and we've got commentators on and everything like that. So we wouldn't be able to do it without the support. It's simple as that. And I know we've gone about it, but it's true. Smooth Juice has become a Capcom member. You get Discord access with that. which I'm very active in with my horse videos and explaining what football is to Americans in sports chat. and the occasional shuttle reference. The occasional
He
shuttle
jokes,
reference.
but
Occasional.
it's true.
It's true. Yeah, I know. Trust me, people, guys, what's that about? And then suddenly they'll go into our Discord and go, why am I seeing a horse training video? Don't worry, we've got some off-topic channels. That's where I stick my stuff there, because we've got other channels of Starship, all the vehicles, everything. It's actually a very active Discord, I must admit. Very addictive as well. Z-Man Overstreet. It's going to be awesome when Florida tank watchers get to see their first Starship rollout. To be honest, I'm surprised we haven't seen any rings yet. And that plays into another question I just saw as well. I'm going to find it. 1 second. There we go. From Jermaine1269, who asks, will the Cape have its own mega bay and high bay, etc.? Roberts Road. That's what we can talk about now. Roberts Road. In our flyover videos, if you go to our channel, you'll see the flyover videos every few weeks. Roberts Road is next door to Kennedy Space Center. It's literally in sight of the VAB. It really is surprisingly close to it. SpaceX is building, next to its Falcon 9 and Dragon facility at Roberts Road, a massive new Starship facility, which will include Alex, what's the latest plans? Is it 1 megabay or 2 megabays?
Well, the plans seem to be eventually to have 2, but for now they're building 1, which for the meantime it's sort of okay.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place because it is huge. The actual area they're building, you'll see on the flyover videos. It's a massive area they're utilizing for this, and that's where they're currently building the towers we've seen rolling out. So we've got 4 towers there, but there's still more towers to come, and also the orbital launch platform will be coming out at some point soon. I'm excited because this is going to double up their cadence for Starship, but it'll also be the main priority launch site for Starship. Remember, Elon has said that Starbase will be their development center, but it'll still be like 6 launches a year, and 6 super heavy launches a year is going to be still incredible to follow, but they'll be developmental. And then eventually the plan is for Kennedy Space Center, including LC-49 eventually, with its 2 towers, we think, will be the bulk of main launches, including the milestone flagship launches of HLS. It's exciting times, people. Very exciting times. Smooth Juice finally joined the team. Hope it's a small contribution to the amazing work the team do at NSF. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. How tall is the Merlin 1D engine?
Yeah, I did my homework because I saw that on chat. So I looked it up, and it's about 6 feet tall, so about 1.8 meters. There you go.
Well done, Alex. Nice, fast answer. A very good preempted check what that would be. Saturn, thank you. Thank you for your support. Bob Brown, thank you for your support. T-minus 9 minutes and 33 seconds. I am keeping an eye on it, don't worry. And I will not talk over launch. I know chat hates it when people talk over launch. And people are asking where Chris G is. Chris G was going to be doing commentary on this one, but he's not feeling very well. So unfortunately, you've got me. So everyone wish Chris G get well soon in chat, because I'm sure he'll watch this live stream back and go, oh, let's see how badly Chris B did. If you're all far away with get well messages to Chris G in chat, he will be able to see them on the live stream replay. Chris K, there's a name we recognise.
Ooh.
He's actually done a super chat question, would you believe, after all that support. Update from the SC Starship Orbital Launch Tower is taller than the current LC-39 launch pad by a few meters, minus lightning towers, of course. Lightning towers. Yeah, what are the lightning towers for? More on that soon, actually. I think. Yeah,
we should remember that the 39A tower is on top of the ramp, right, Chris?
Ah, yes.
Yep.
So it looks taller here, but because it's cheating, so it's on top of the ramp. But it actually is. Yeah, the ramp is massive.
It is. Thank you, Alex. You're exactly where I was going with that. It's surprising. It really is. It's so tall that when the crawler transporter was taking shuttle and SLS out up the ramp, it has what's called a gel system, which is jacket evolution and leveling, where it literally lowers the back end or the top end of the crawler by a massive amount. Seriously, so it can go up and keep the rocket level as it's going up the ramp. And it takes a good 30 minutes to get up that ramp. Even though it's a crawler, it's only going very slow, but it's surprisingly tall, that ramp, before you get to the 0 level. Stephanie Parker, thank you for your support first of all, could Starlink satellites use physical fiber optic cables to each other if they wanted to? I'm not going to be able to answer that one. Alex, do you know what that means?
I don't think so. That would
there you
be yeah. They're talking like putting a fiber optic between each satellite. I don't think that's how it works because yeah, first of all, you will need a lot of cable, but that being aside, we're talking about putting fiber optic between satellites in orbit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, relative velocities and everything. No, I don't think that could be a case.
Pluto171, thank you for coming to Pad Right. Remember, again, people go, Chris, you're just reading out super chats. No, I'm actually reading out other questions as well, but I really do want to read out super chats because they're the ones who allow us to do this. Without the super chats, we wouldn't be talking. No, we ought to thank anybody, would I? So there you go. John Deppner, my little one, Victoria, wants to know how they build the Falcon 9 and what is it made of. Well, first of all, say hello to everyone saying chat. Hello to Victoria, John Deppner's daughter, and also Alex, what's it made of?
Well, the Falcon 9 is made out of aluminum lithium alloy. So it's basically like a tin can, but made out of aluminum lithium. And the Falcon 9 fairings are honeycomb structure in aluminum and also composites. And that also applies to the intrastage. So that's more or less what's the materials used on Falcon 9. It's actually the same kind of alloy that they use on the SLS core stage in the shuttle external tank. So there you go.
I've got a question from Techco who asks, where will the third orbital launch tower be going? Now, I know the answer to that, first of all, straight away, is that probably the third one will be at LC-49. Alex, correct?
Well, it could be.
Because I'm going to pick Nick on the Starbase question there, because that's technically, I think, the current plan, that if they get approval for LC-49, which NASA's currently doing a review with, and I think that'll go very well, they're going to build 2 towers there, I believe, at LC-49. If you look for LC-49 in the NSF site, search it, you'll see a render from Jade Shelter, a wonderful artist and also photographer and a videographer for us. It shows the actual 3 towers, of one at LC-39A and 2 at LC-49. But I want to bring Nick in because there was originally the plan to have 2 towers at Starbase, which would have been the third tower.
Yep.
They've currently put that on hold. They have to reapply to the Army engineers or something like that for permission to construct that. And obviously their priority is to get the first tower going. You will have physically seen the area where that second tower would go, Nick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The area where the second tower will maybe go is right next to the current tower. So yeah, we see that in most of the daily clips. Honestly, if the second tower was in the background and we were taking pictures of the first tower, you'd see that in most of the daily video clips because it's just right next door. But yeah, we haven't seen any physical pieces or anything like that come through. I mean, obviously we're still building out the first one, so it'll be a while before any of that gets built out, if it ever does. Because you're right, they do have some more applications that they need to apply for, and permits that they need to pull in order to get the second tower going. But to be honest, I would be very surprised if the second tower ever happened at Starbase, seeing how they're shifting Starbase's focus from a rapid launch cadence place to more of a research and development type place. I would not be surprised if we saw a bunch of towers go up at Kennedy for the rapid reusability, and 1 tower remaining in Texas to continue their development program. Yeah.
That's exactly how I'd pronounce it as well, because the way the Starbase is going now, it's not going to need the 2 towers for the cadence they're planning. Now, T-minus 3 minutes and 24 seconds. We're coming up with T-minus 3 minutes now. Let's get back into our game face mode because we've got a launch coming up. What we're going to see next, Alex? We're at T-minus 3 minutes.
Well, right now we should be undergoing Stromback retract on the TE. And soon they're going to wrap up, launch liquid oxygen loading on the first stage, and then liquid oxygen on the second stage, and then the rocket will be fully fueled by then.
Wonderful. T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. A quick plug out, by the way. We've got another stream coming up later on today. We've got the museum show. 3 p.m. Eastern, NSF Live with Stephanie Stilson, Floor Manager for Discovery. Behind the scenes looks and stories from the journeys of the shuttles to their new homes at the museums. And trust me, Stephanie is a wonderful person. She was the floor manager during the shuttle retirement program, and she treated them like their children. I mean, it was wonderful. We got some wonderful interviews and photographs and interviews, but seeing her live tonight, today, I should say, tonight UK time, this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, NSF Live. You don't want to miss that if you're a shuttle hugger. T-minus 2 minutes.
We should be coming up on liquid oxygen load on the second stage being complete, and then we're gonna see a lot of venting. That is because they're gonna be wrapping up fueling of both the stages, and so the strom bag will be just venting all the remaining liquids and fluids that it has to save it for launch. So don't be alarmed from all the vapors coming out. That's normal.
Coming up in 90 seconds. Also worth a quick reference, that SpaceX's launch countdowns are going very smoothly. That a launch abort from the Vandenberg launch was a very rare event for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they luckily turned it around within 24 hours, so it shows how fast they can solve problems as well. We will go slightly more quiet with the chat because you guys want to see a launch and not have some Yorkshiremen ramble all over it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the leak. Leak. Not
There you go.
leak.
Yeah, there's the water tower leaking. I told you
It's
that one.
full.
It's full. Who needs flashy lights saying it's full when you can just watch it overflow?
It was holding it all this time.
You said that, Alex, not me.
Oh, jeez, I'm gonna be fired.
Right, coming up on launch.
There you go. Start up. That means the onboard computers on Falcon 9 have taken control of the countdown, and it's sort of like the T-minus 31 handoff from the shuttle, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Where the ground computers
Yes.
will hand off the launch
GLS.
countdown sequence to the onboard computers. We're approaching 20 seconds. If I've heard right, the launch director is go for launch, so we'll see liftoff in just 15 seconds.
Oh, it's net rocket go.
There we go, ignition, and liftoff.
Performance nominal. There's a sound coming through. As if you were there. Through the Stephen Martin microphone. Wonderful view there from Port Canaveral.
Oh, that's an amazing shot.
That's wonderful. Yes, coming up to
Nice
max Q now. Going supersonic.
Yeah, someone asked on chat whether those cones are due to max Q. That's actually due to supersonic speeds.
Yeah, just before. Now starting to arc out. This is the thing that a lot of people who are new to rockets don't understand. They don't go straight up. They have to arc. They have to go around to follow the curvature, and they're going downrange now. So you gain altitude and also downrange.
That's a good tracking,
Yeah,
Nice job,
gotta
Steve.
say.
wonderful
Wow.
work from Stephen here.
See, we should train Nick in case for Starship.
Starship's gonna be crazy to track. Yeah.
Ah, it's gonna be amazing. And back
Perfect.
engine chill. That means the second stage engine is getting ready for igniting in about 30 seconds. She'll be approaching Miko in about 15 seconds.
This is still Steven's track.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Steven still has this locked
It's
down. My
amazing.
goodness.
There you go. Miko. All 9 engines have shut down. Should be separation. And there we go. Ignition of the second stage.
Staging 1-2.
Nice. What a beautiful view of the
There's
coastal
payload
Florida there.
fairings. Another thing as well with SpaceX doing now, they recover the fairings. We saw recently in Gavin's recent tweet where we saw a new recovery system being used, like sausages, big inflatable sausages with nets. And I think that's just their way of using Bob and Doug, their recovery vehicles, to refine how they scoop the fairings out of the water, because they parachute down softly and then get recovered and reused. And they cost about a couple of million, yeah, not that much, a couple of $1 million each. It's still
Probably
a lot.
for
It's still a lot
SLS.
more than I thought it'd be. Yeah. I think Elon once described them as pallets of cash falling from the sky.
It actually all began because they had a fairing from a launch in 2014, 2015, if I remember correctly. They had that fairing fall to the ocean, and it washed ashore on an island, and they saw it was mostly intact. Like it was like one part of it was broken, obviously, because of all the waves and the travel time to the island and everything, but it was mostly intact. So when like, what if we could actually recover them? And that's how it all began.
Wow.
They have a video of it because they used to put GoPro cameras on the fairings. I believe the ones they use now a little bit more sophisticated than that. But yeah, and they actually have a video of that the recovered fairing. They had the GoPro on it, and they basically uploaded the video on YouTube. So after the launch, if you have time, check it out. Gotta
That's cool.
dive a little bit deep into their YouTube channel though.
What
Too
I'd
many
like to
launches.
see is a video of Octograbber, because there's very little we've seen about Octograbber, which grabs hold of the boosters after they land on the drone ships. Yeah, that's something I really want to see. You'll see the booster coming back now. It's going to do an entry burn first, which is three engines, one engine, isn't it, Alex? 1, 3, 1.
Yep. 131. It's always the same engines. Well, not the same engines in the sense of the same serial number engines, but like the position in the boosters. The engines are numbered, and I think also for Starship 2, maybe Nick will talk about that later if he can. But yeah, the engines on Falcon 9, obviously the outer engines are 1 to 8, and then the center engine is E9. So E1, E5, and E9 are the ones that are always relight for these landing, re-entry and landing burns. Yeah, I believe Nick, you have shot pictures of boosters and ships. They had like little tags having E27 or something, which made me crazy. It was like E27. I'm so used to E9 being the largest one here on Falcon 9. So seeing something like E20 or E27, it was crazy.
There's a couple of them on the Starship.
Yeah. So many of them.
We're coming up any second now for the entry burn. See the grid fins ready to come into action, and they start using the return during atmosphere.
Meanwhile, the second stage going into orbit like a champ.
Yeah. Big shout out to the Merlin Vac. It's an RVAC. How much Starbase are we covering? That's an RVAC. The Merlin Vac. We've seen testing on McGregor. If you go now, McGregor, let's put it into chat. You can do it straight after this chat, after this live stream even. McGregor, there we go. That's where we've got live streams. You also not only just see Raptor 2 firings, but you also see McGregor firing up the Merlins, including the Merlin Vac.
Absolutely.
For their long duration burns before they're qualified to go on a new Falcon 9.
There we go.
Entry burn.
You can always see the transition there to 3 engines. And one thing people ask a lot when an MVAC ignition or any Merlin ignition there is on McGregor, they're like, why is the exhaust so black? It's like, well, you know why boosters are so sooty? That's the reason why. We see Raptor engines firing and they're so clean and so
Yeah.
like even the vapor coming off from, for example, the vertical stand, I believe, is the one that uses the most of it, and it's like a lot of white vapor. Meanwhile, the Merlins are like, shoot, here's all the
Wow, this
the
is a
black.
really cool shot as we come
Here we go through
approaching
the
the clouds
clouds.
here.
Yeah,
This
there
is
we go.
really cool. It still has a lot of speed.
Seems like the signals is stable this time around.
Really active
That's
steering
a
as well.
cool shot. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh man.
impressive. Wow.
Now you should be able to see the same thing that we saw on Ascent with the condensation. Perhaps now.
Now, where
There
is the
you
drone
go.
ship?
Mm.
See the condensation? That's from passing through the speed of sound. A lot of perturbations. There we go. That's the drone ship.
And that the
On
landing
the
burn
left
and there's
hand
the
fin.
drone
There you
ship.
go. A little bit of steering. Then the landing burn. Watch the grid fins there, just refining the approach along with the engine gimbaling. Lots of steering. Look at
Going for
this.
the bullseye.
Ooh.
There we go. Another
Bravo.
landing.
Absolutely. Never get bored of that.
Absolutely not. Oh,
And
that's
this is
right on the money.
This is the 59th landing in a row successful.
Wow.
So it's like, it's mind blowing. So many landings in a row successful.
And did we also have Seco? Yep.
Yes,
there
we're
it
past
is.
Seco 1 on the
There's
graph,
Seco
so there
1.
we go. In the coast.
Yippee.
And good orbit confirmed as well.
Wonderful. Wow. And back to the Cape. Beautiful view there, Stephen.
There's a TA all retracted, waiting for another launch. There's a shout out to the TA as well. It's called the Transport Erector. It literally does bring out the vehicle. Absolutely wonderful. Brings out the vehicle from the HIF and then rolls it to the launch platform, erects it at the launch platform, supplies all the commodities, electricals, and fueling, and then literally be rolled back from the Falcon 9. But yeah, it's a wonderful bit of kit they've refined over the years. They've changed design early on, but now they're stuck with a design that seems to obviously work for them very well.
Yeah. And so congratulations to SpaceX for the amazing Starlink 4-25 launch here. If you guys notice, this stream is sponsored by Brilliant.org. You saw that little watermark in the upper corner there. This is what allows us to keep the lights on around here and send Steven out to sweat in the field. So I just want to give a shout out to Brilliant. Typically, we did do these Brilliant ads before launch, but you know, we figured you guys might want to watch the rocket launch here, so we're going to do these here at the end. So this is Brilliant, and it's a very, very awesome interactive learning platform that I've used to figure out how pressure works, which is really funny because we were trying to figure out this this ad in a pressureful way with a short time. So this was an amazing opportunity here, and actually I think we were talking about how they fill up the water tower, and that's basically what all of the what this lesson is all about, showing how water flow works, and it's not as intuitive as you'd think, which is kind of funny there. Looks like we got that one wrong there. It actually is not as intuitive as you think. Anyway, so Brilliant is awesome because it provides a little bit of an explanation on how that question actually works. And unlike a lot of other learning platforms and like just simply pulling up YouTube videos, this is actually good information that is challenging and isn't quite as intuitive as you'd think. It challenges your intuition and makes you learn. So it's very versatile, and you can use this anywhere. This is all just online, so you can pull this up and watch it and learn on the train or in the car or wherever you happen to be needing some education. Brilliant is awesome for that. So thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring this live stream, and everyone should go check out brilliant.com/NSFlive and sign up there and learn a little bit.
Super. Again, people in chat maybe sometimes they don't actually. To be fair, our community is very good. They understand why we obviously have to work a balance between providing the amount of coverage, which is crazy, and also being able to afford it. So there you go. That's why we do these things. I just want a quick thank you to some super chats that are left remaining. Rough Rider shirt again. Get well soon, Chris G. Yeah, he'll be back shipshape and Bristol fashion before you know it. Marco, thank you for becoming a pad rat. Mike, go SpaceX, go. Rosine, which is the camera shooting the second stage located? It's located just further up the stage, so you can see it from that view. It's the actual onboard cameras are not easy to do, so it's always a very clever trick from the engineering community when they manage that. But thank you for your support with the question. And Remy Turk, my first empty launch pad as a member. Well, apart from the TEL, which is now TE to call it. I used to call it TL as well, which was Transport Electric and Launch, but now it's TE. Thanks for the coverage again. No, thank you. And thanks for everyone's support. Quick thank you to Nick. Thank you for joining us with your wonderful commentary.
I wouldn't call it wonderful, but it was commentary. So
I would. I'm a stern judge, and I don't take fools. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nick. Much appreciated.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Also, thank you to Stephen Matt out there in the field for us, providing these wonderful views and a great tracking the launch. I really enjoyed watching the tracking. Normally, I'm too busy tweeting and stuff like that for the launch, but I got to watch this one properly, and that was wonderful work from Stephen there. So everyone thanks Stephen in chat because he's not on comms. And also Alex, thank you to Alex for joining us with the expert commentary as always.
Always a pleasure, and that support is always very appreciated. We have SpaceX with a steamroller here. We have had 6 launches this month, which was a tie-in record, but next month we have 7 launches planned. So it's going to be crazy next month. We have the next one, I think it is from Pad 40. It's going to be South Korea's lunar orbiter. And the next one from 39A, it's going to be another Starlink. So look out for that. We're going to be covering it most likely.
Oh, yes, we will be. Also, the fun does not stop this Sunday. Later on today, if you're a shuttle fan, or even if you're not a shuttle fan, you want to get into it, you've got to watch NSF Live, because we've got a museum show, and it's featuring Stephanie Stilson, who was a floor manager for Discovery. And I know from my shuttle coverage days, that is one person you really want on, because that person, it typifies what I always found the shuttle engineers to be, where they actually cared for the vehicles deeply. And it'll be just wonderful seeing this show where behind the scenes looks and stories from the journeys of the shuttles to their new homes in the museums, because they've got honourable retirements. We do shuttle Sundays. I'll do one later today, where the vehicles were retired and they weren't just thrown into a garage and left to rot. They were sent to museums and gave an honourable send off. Absolutely wonderful the way they did the retirement for the orbiters, because they gave them the honour they deserved. So by all means, 3 p.m. Eastern, NSF Live, you'll see that. In the meantime, you can watch Starbase Live, because we've got live coverage from Starbase through our bots. So you can keep an eye on what's going on there in Texas, South Texas even. So thank you for joining us. Sorry you got me, but Chris G will be back next time. But from now, goodbye and thank you for joining us.
Liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
RCP chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, roll with Planet.
Water towers can fly!
They go down to nominal.
Sliding down, try SCE off. Say again, SCE off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.